Hello everybody, this is GPC 3.9 and welcome back to something brand new. Now I'm sure you guys have already heard about the GPC and it took me a long time to edit this and get it together, but here we are with round 1. The draft has been completed and my first opponent has been set, and this week in round 1 my opponent is MasterSwiiift or Sasha. Now round 1 was a bit of an interesting case for me. For one, I had never used my team before. I hadn't done any testing with my team. 2, my opponent has 2 Pokemon that I have the Mega Evolutions of. And 3, I have no idea how this person plays. I don't know the link to their YouTube channel, other than the fact that it's in the GPC document. I don't know how this person plays. I didn't really do much research because I didn't have the time to research, but what I did have the time to do was to devise my team. Now granted, devising the team was difficult, but essentially, I'm not going to reveal all my secrets, but essentially, I looked at his team and looked at my team. I saw what weaknesses my team had and what advantages his team had against mine, and using that, I picked out my team. For this battle, I ended up bringing 6 Pokemon along with me. I brought Muscle Man, my good Keldor, the Gangbang Brothers, my good trio, his Ancientness, the Amistar, Wings, the Latios, Soul, the Volcarona, and Drapion, or Oddjob, and strangely enough, I didn't bring a Mega Evolution. Now, I have 2 Mega Evolutions in my draft. You'd think that that would be a good plan, but looking at his team and his advantages against me, he had really good ways to take down either one of my Mega Evolutions, be it his Arcanine and Mega Manectric against my Mega Scizor, or his Cresselia and the Tangrowth against Mega Gardevoir, because they can completely wall me out. Also, Scizor did well against Mega Gardevoir. So instead, I picked out these 6 team members, and I went forward from there. Now, I predicted that MasterSwiiift was going to bring Slowbro, Mega Manectric, Arcanine, Terrakion, Rotom Fan, and his Gardevoir or his Tangrowth. I wasn't sure which one. And he ended up bringing almost all of the Pokemon I predicted. However, I did falsely predict, and he ended up bringing his Scizor instead of his Arcanine, which, granted, while it wasn't identically close, my guesstimations were incredibly close to what he actually brought, so I was extremely happy with my prediction methods. So that being said, it's all worked out up until now, and let's just get on with the battle. So round 1 was pretty interesting, I have to say. A lot of things happened, and it wasn't too ridiculous, but I got in what I wanted to. So this opens up round 1. Round 1, I lead off with my Amistar to get up Hazard, because looking at his team, I know he does not have any other Hazard removers other than his Scizor. So he goes in with his Scizor, I go in with my Amistar. Classic Stealth Rock lead. So of course, first move, I know he has the Scizor, and I know he's going to try to do a lot of damage to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my Volcarona, predicting him to go for Rocks or Deep Fog turn 1 to get rid of anything I have on the field. He could even go for a Swords Dance, but he actually goes for a U-turn, which does 43% damage to me. That's a lot more damage than I was hoping for. But this is a slightly bulky, well, very slightly bulky, sweeping Volcarona. So he goes into Rotom Fan after that U-turn. Very nice prediction on his part. And I switch into Muscle Man the Conkeldurr, taking the Hidden Power Ice. Now the Hidden Power Ice, I already know it's not very effective because it doesn't do much to Muscle Man, and I knew he wanted me to bring in the the Doug Trio, so I couldn't do anything against him to take an electrical attack. Now, of course, I did predict that, and I go into Muscle Man, who has an Assault Vest. He could take tons and tons of hits, and he still has some recovery in the form of Drain Punch, but that's not all. So, because of this, he ends up, my apologies, he goes for a Scald, as I switch out Conkeldurr into Drapion. I'm not entirely sure why I did this, but I know that Slowbro could have had Psyshock, and I don't have that much physical bulk on Muscle Man, so I switched out into Drapion predicting a Psychic attack, but he instead goes for a Scald. Doesn't get the burn, but it does do 46% of my damage, so that's kind of an issue. Now, he withdraws Slowbro and goes into Scizor as I go for Night Slash. This is a critical hit Drapion, and Oddjob definitely comes through in this battle because first off, right away, Sniper Scope Lens Drapion gets a critical hit Night Slash, dealing 85.1% damage to the Scizor. That is incredibly crucial. Scizor was the main hazard remover on Swift's side of the field. He has nothing that can get rid of Toxic Spikes on my Amistar, and he has nothing that can get rid of Stealth Rock if that Scizor is done. So, that being said, I'm still a bit worried about the burn, so I switch out Drapion and I go back into Amistar. He withdraws his Scizor and goes into Terrakion. Now, what he does is he goes for close combat. I have a Focus Sash and I have weak armor. So I already know that I can take one hit at least and get up some hazards. I go for Stealth Rock, as to be expected, and thinking I'll outspeed the next turn because of the speed boost, I go for Toxic Spike, so that way I can deal with the rest of his team a lot more easily. However, his Terrakion is Scarfed and ends up going for another close combat, taking out his Ancientness. So at that point, I knew immediately that this was a Scarfed Terrakion. If it wasn't a Scarfed Terrakion and it was a Life Orb Terrakion, he wouldn't have outsped me. And he was trying to pull the little hidden card that, oh yeah, my Terrakion's sashed, but I knew it wasn't sashed. So anyway, I go into Dugtrio, the Gangbang Brothers, and he goes for another close combat, but I hang on by my own Focus Sash. Now granted, yes, 2 Focus Sashes, not the greatest of plans, but Swift has a ton of wall breakers on his team, and I knew if there were going to be a lot of wall breakers, I would need Focus Sashes to prevent that. So, he goes for a close combat and brings me down, but I'm able to eliminate him with Earthquake because I already know that he doesn't have a Sash. So then, he brings in Slowbro. Not sure why he brought in the Slowbro, but I end up going for a Toxic because it's just a free way to get rid of his Slowbro. And now his Slowbro has been Toxic, even though he does have Regenerator, I'm pretty dang sure. He goes for Thunder Wave, probably predicting me to switch out on the chance that he would end up killing my Dugtrio. I think he might have overpredicted there, but essentially I end up taking the Thunder Wave because Dugtrio is completely immune to it. Slowbro takes some poison damage, and I go for Sucker Punch, trying to get off a little bit of damage on this Slowbro. So Slowbro, clearly not really taking too much for Swift's team. He does end up finishing off the Gangbang Brothers with Psyshock, and they go down. So I finally bring in Drapion once again. Drapion is going to be huge. Now, predicting him to possibly to retreat and get his health back with Regenerator to try to keep this thing alive, I go for Pursuit, just in case. I don't even need to crit, and thankfully it ends up killing the Slowbro anyway, so Pursuit, Oddjob, doing his job as any other time. So, he goes into Manectric, and Manectric Mega Evolves. He goes for Volt Switch, as Wings ends up taking it. So I bring in my Latios to take the inevitable, because I know that Wings can take any hit Mega Manectric has to throw at me unless he has Snarl, but Snarl is not common on Mega Manectric in singles. So, he goes in for Volt Switch, and he brings in his own Gardevoir, a regular Gardevoir. I don't know what kind of Gardevoir this is yet, but essentially, I end up going for Psyshock, predicting him to switch into something else, as he goes for Reflect. Granted, not the greatest play, but I didn't expect the Gardevoir to have Protect. I thought that it might try to trick me and hand me a Scarf, and that way I could Scarf Psyshock the rest of his team, but instead, I just go for a regular Psyshock, and he goes for Reflect. So, didn't do as much as I hoped to, so I'm thinking, okay, well maybe I could seal the deal if I go for my Tailwind here, because my Latios has Tailwind, and Tailwind can boost the speed of the rest of my team, because just as I wanted it to be, Latios can be very dangerous and very supportive as well. So thankfully, Tailwind works, and he goes for Wish on his Gardevoir, probably trying to either save his Gardevoir or save whatever else he brings in immediately after. That being said, I withdraw Latios and go into Volcarona. Now Volcarona has double its normal speed, which makes Volcarona incredibly fast and dangerous. He goes into Scizor, and Scizor feints to a Stealth Rock after the Wish, so the Wish was all for nothing. Then he goes into Mega Manectric, and gets the Intimidate off on Volcarona. Now granted, it's not like the Intimidate really matters on Volcarona in the first place, but regardless, Mega Manectric is on the field and I'm a little worried about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a subtle sweep and do some damage at the same time. So I go for Fiery Dance. I don't get the attack boost, well, special attack boost, but I do 63% of his health. But Mega Manectric goes for Eerie Impulse, which harshly lowers my special attack. I have never seen this move on a Mega Manectric anywhere. Not even in VGC, not in doubles, nowhere have I seen this move. I completely forgot it existed. So very interesting of Swiift to go for a move like that, especially knowing that my Volcarona can set up and sweep. So very, very good move on his part, but unfortunately the battle does not end in Swiift's favor. I go for Substitute, just in case he tries to go for something else, he tries to roar me out. Basically, I'm scouting to see what he's going to do. And he goes for a Volt Switch, which knocks out my Substitute, and he goes into Rotom Fan. So Rotom Fan is now on the field, the Reflect has worn off, and the Tailwind has petered out. I then withdrew my Volcarona, or Soul. I withdraw Soul, and I go back into Wings, as he goes for an Air Slash, because I know that Rotom Fan has Flying-type moves, obviously, and Wings can take it better than anything else on the rest of the team. So Wings only takes 29%, and basically at this point he's just hoping for a flinch because I've gotten a few bit of hacks here and there. I'm not really trying to be too sly about it because, you know, hacks are never too great. But anyway, I know I can basically seal the deal right now if I go for another Tailwind. So I go for another Tailwind. He goes for an Air Slash, and unfortunately misses even the 95 accuracy. I go for Draco Meteor, does 57% of his Rotom Fan's health in, and Rotom Fan, once again, just going for the Air Slash, actually landing it. It really is a shame. I could tell Swiift was kind of angry at this point. But whatever, it just kind of sucks for him. So anyway, I go for Psyshock again, even if my special attack has been lowered. I know I can basically knock out whatever that Rotom Fan has left. And so Light Orb Psyshock does knock out Rotom Fan, and he goes back into Mega Manectric, and the rocks are going to knock him out. So unfortunately, all that Swiift has left is his Gardevoir. So basically the deal has been sealed at this point. We talked a bit, and he's a really nice guy. He's very courteous with his battling, so it was a great battle overall. But I end up finishing the battle with a Fiery Dance from Soul, and Gardevoir going for Wish, and a second Fiery Dance is going to do Gardevoir in. So a great round one. I think my predictions worked out well. Of course, if you guys haven't been keeping an eye on it, on the bottom of the screen you can find all of the EV sets I used on my Pokemon to prepare for Swiift. And it was a great round one. It was a great first battle. I'm really looking forward to round two against Terracrowshot. He's got a really cool looking team, and I think I might actually use my Megas next time. We'll have to hope so. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this round one of the GPC. I'm really happy to see all the support going towards it so far from every single person who's been posting videos on it. And of course, we now have an official analyst. But that's for another time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that little like button down below and get ready for round two next week. And I'll see you guys next Friday. Have a good day.